Greetings once again, Helldivers. Ervin here to give you an update on the Galactic campaign and the current major order. I made a video on this major order just 2 days ago, presenting a winning strategy that could both ensure the safety of the feeble young adults and the gas mines addition to our arsenal, which would surely be a great addition to the loadouts on the Terminid front. Initially, the plan was off to a good start. The community had been informed that we would need to move the DSS to Charon Prime first, as the orbital blockade tactical action would then delay the follow up attack on Sharbel. This did indeed happen, causing Joel to stagger his attacks, unable to begin the assault on Bekvam III at the same time as Sharbel. This meant all our Helldivers would need to do was successfully defend Bekvam III, then answer the staggered attack on Sharbel afterwards that had begun 15 hours later than Joel originally intended. This is where the first problem arose, however. We had anticipated that Joel would answer our DSS usage by cranking up the strength of the automaton attacks to keep things challenging, and that is exactly what he did. While the initial attacks on Sharon Prime and Bektham on day 1 were level 18 and 19 in strength, the follow up attack on Bektham 3 was level 24, and the attack on Sharbel later on was level 20. This turn of events meant we would need to rally 63% of the total population to the defense of Bekvam III at the beginning of the attack, as losing this planet would mean Joel would then have the option to simply launch two simultaneous attacks against the MO objectives of Julheim and Dumatir. So we could not afford to lose Bekvam III under any circumstances if we wanted to defend both planets and complete the MO in its entirety, not sacrificing either objective. Despite our best efforts to coordinate across all forms of social media what the plan was, we were unfortunately unable to rally the required number to the defense of Bekvam III, as about 49% of the player base was split between the ongoing Illuminate defensive operation, the Terminid defensive operation, and later on otherwise baited into attempting to gambit Charon Prime. Basically, it was a complete mess, and we ended up short 12% of the community that we would have needed to succeed on Bekvam 3. We even ended up moving the DSS back to Bekvam 3 in a desperate attempt to rally more of our forces to its defense, and to increase the liberation rate, as the DSS does provide a passive boost in that department. Even with all of this effort, it just wasn't enough though, and as the night went on, we passed the point of no return, with Bekvam 3 requiring 93% of the total population to successfully defend at the end of the night. Basically, we were losing on all fronts, and it looked inevitable that the automatons would take over Bekvam in time to launch one final attack against both Dumatir and Julheim to force us to choose. Even if this had happened, though, we did have one more ace up our sleeves, as the Eagle Storm was successfully charged in time before the end of the operation, allowing us to secure one of the planets via technical victory through timeout while properly defending the other if it had come to that. But we never got to this part of the timeline, however, because early this morning, something unexpected happened.
Professionally, we call this an oopsie.
Following a routine maintenance of Arrowhead's backend system that governs the Galactic War, they accidentally reset and broke the Global Liberation modifier. For those that don't know, the Global Liberation modifier is an integral part of how the Galactic War actually even functions. It's why Helldivers 2's Galactic War progress stays roughly the same regardless of how many players there are completing operations. There can be 300,000 players or 3,000 players in the game, and the Galactic War will continue on at the same exact rates. This is because every individual operation completed or failed by our Helldivers is calculated as a hit in the system. The more hits our player base generates on an hourly basis, the less those hits count for when it comes to liberation calculation. This changes throughout the day, up and down, to keep our progress generally the same, only seeing significant increases to our liberation rates when our players complete more high difficulty missions per hour than normal, as higher quality hits keep the global average lower, while generating more progress than a bunch of, say, level 1 trivial missions would have in mass, negating impact on our global modifier. I've actually made an entire guide on all of the mechanics behind the Galactic War that I'll leave a link to below for those of you that want to know everything there is to know about it. But this part was imperative to understanding what happened today. So, as I said, the global liberation modifier was reset and broken in its entirety. Without this modifier for a brief period of time, this meant 60,000 Helldivers were completing operations with no reductions to the liberation rate due to the population. Basically, we had 60,000 Helldivers generating liberation completely unmitigated, something that would only work with a couple hundred players on the game at best. This caused ongoing attacks that were previously completely lost to suddenly be instantly won. Bekvam III was successfully defended, and the Gambit of Charon Prime suddenly went from generating just a couple percent of liberation per hour to being liberated entirely in just a couple hours. At the same time, the ongoing defense in Terminid space, yep, instantly won. The Squid Invasion, instantly won. This turn of events has ensured the safety of the moderately feeble adults and our gas mines, as even if Arrowhead could get the system back online in time, Joel would not have enough time to launch enough attacks to threaten them both at the same time. And even if he could, the Eagle Storm was due to charge in time regardless. This brief malfunction resulted in what you could deem very easily the biggest upset we've ever seen since the Galactic War began, as these defenses were completely lost. I mean, entirely unwinnable. A major malfunction or divine intervention were the only ways we could come back from the lack of coordination on Bekvam. But that, Helldivers, is exactly what happened. A deserved win? Certainly not, but a win nonetheless. A fix for the global liberation modifier malfunction is currently in development, but there is currently no ETA. Because of this, Arrowhead has seen fit to temporarily, for the first time in the game's history, pause the Galactic War. You can still log in and enjoy Helldivers 2, play games, and so on as you would normally, but your efforts will currently not progress the Galactic War whatsoever until they are able to get a handle on how to fix the issue. All progress made during this interruption is also permanent and will not be reverted. Considering the weekend is close at hand, most of Arrowhead will also be out of the office. It's likely the Galactic War is shut down until Tuesday next week at the standard patch time of 5 a.m. EST, unless the devs decide to burn the midnight oil and stay in the office through the weekend, something I highly doubt they'll do. So, yeah, that's basically what happened. Overall, no one could have predicted these events, but considering the Galactic War has absolutely not been going our way lately, I'll take the wins where we can get them. I mean, just look at how much territory the Terminids have right now, including the Gloom. Are we even majority shareholders in this galaxy anymore when the Terminids are holding all the blue, green, and pink cards on the Monopoly board right now? An undeserved win, in my opinion, but one I will happily take. But what do you guys think about the situation? Let's talk about our victory down below and what you guys are planning to do given the Galactic War has been put on pause for now. Personally, I'm looking forward to a weekend with Monster Hunter Wilds, which I'll be streaming tomorrow afternoon. Thank you to my coffee supporters who help keep the channel going, and thank you for watching till the end. I'll see you next time.
Calling in a Hellbomb.
Yes.
Requesting air support.
Nope, cross left.
Requesting
A minimum's car. Vroom vroom.